All right, let's put our hands in, and then when we pull our hands out, we will start. 1, 2, 3. All right. Hey, everybody.
that was great. If you're on the video podcast, you saw something special today.
That's right. Well, and once again, we have proven the fact that we sat here and talked as friends for 20 minutes, and we should have been recording the whole time.
No, we shouldn't have been recording that the whole time.
Well, some of it.
Push record when we walk in the door.
Anyway, hey, everybody.
Count Dracula.
Doug here with Josh and Jana and Matt.
Hello.
Jana is round 50, part 2. 50,
What?
52.
52. Well, it's
50
just
part
that
two?
if anybody's tuning in to what number are we, by the way?
This is 52.
Because I got an email from Eric S. in Grace Community Church, Chaffont, Pennsylvania. By the way,
Chaffont.
I actually like the fact we kind of started.
And no audio?
Well, I like your audio. I just don't like 3 minutes of it.
Or that we can't all hear it, so we all have to be like cheek to cheek.
Yeah, but he says
Yes, we're better together.
we are better together. Andy. Eric says, you know I'm a Red Sox fan, so I'm used to disappointment. They string me along every year, get me to the point where I just start believing, then they crush me. Which is why I find myself so annoyed that I let you all fool me into thinking you'd actually be back with a new podcast in a week. So here I am more than 2 weeks after 50, drowning my sorrow and disappointment with my Diet Coke. I don't know if I can ever trust again. And he signed it, fooled again. Now, I read this and I thought, didn't we just do haven't we done one every week?
We did 50, 51, 52, yeah. We missed 1
There's
week.
kind of a gap between 50 and 51.
It's summertime, and we should express our commitment a little bit that we are on a Friday morning at 8:30 in the morning.
That's pretty good, really, considering we're supposed to be Wednesday afternoons or something, and we're holding on.
Yeah, we said we got to do it next week.
So
now, next
is
week is the 4th of July, and the next week, the 6th of July, Misha McGill is going in for child number 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
And doing a little C-section there where she gets to schedule it.
Yes.
She gets to schedule it around. Honestly, she said she was scheduled.
They said it could have been July 3rd or July 6th. And she said, oh, well, let's do the 6th so we could do 4th of July at the Field's house.
4th of July.
Fireworks for the boys.
Fireworks for the boys, and then baby.
She could still
Well,
do
anyway, so I
fireworks
was
for
I
the
was a
boys
little
without
confused
her.
by this. I appreciate the
I
guys,
would've
the Red
taken
Sox
it.
fan.
We
but
are the Red Sox of podcasts.
I thought we've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, we missed a week.
Well,
And we
You
got
know,
some
we're
exciting news. We got some exciting news. Matt, do you want to bust out the new news that we
No
have
doubt.
pushed
I'd love
Brazelton
to.
enough to where
Brazel is
this
finally...
is not a fluke, that we're actually
He's
gonna
almost
continue?
excited about the podcast.
Okay.
Which means that we are going to have some new gear.
Yes.
Gear.
Some new tech gear.
Now, how would you describe that, Jen?
Yeah,
as a
not
woman?
exciting.
Would you describe it as gear?
She's never
Equipment.
She's never listened to the podcast,
All
so
right.
she doesn't know how bad it sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
I've listened to all of you, though.
The bottom line is we're getting a bunch of new stuff. The sound quality will be amazing.
All right. Well, let's.
Maybe.
It will-
Yeah, I was gonna say. Here's a rule of life. Here's a rule of
promise
life.
anything.
Just say I got a joke. Don't say I got a funny joke. Just say we're gonna get equipment. Don't say we're gonna get amazing
The
equipment.
sound will be ridiculous.
Yeah.
they've got this new filter on the Apple that we're going to get, where it's actually going to make sure that every one of our comments sound intelligent. It's good.
That's
It's
what we
actually
need.
You
add
kind of sound a little
intelligence.
soft-spoken
Yeah.
today.
It's gonna-
It's a tender man.
You know what? I got an
Well,
email. I
was-
got to let you know, you guys, that
I was a little out of control last week. I
Well,
don't know
you were
really
just
what it was. It was.
we
I
got,
was in a good mood. I mean,
we
one
got
out of 52
a bunch
weeks,
of emails this week.
I'm going to be in a good mood.
We got a bunch of emails this week, and let me just tell you that I did not dip back into our pile.
Oh, no
And
archive email.
No archive email, which an archive email could have been last week that we didn't get to. But
the year
but
ago. Or who knows.
Josh emailed me all the emails from podcast@simpleyouthministry.com. He emailed them to me in plenty of time. I got them like at 1 this morning. And
No, you didn't.
It's the least I could
no,
do.
I did get them 1 this morning because we were at that show at Wadsworth Theater in L.A.
Oh, fine.
What
And
show?
The Mort Saul tribute show. Mort
Whoa,
Saul.
Jay Leno's
Oh,
going to be
that's
there.
right.
Jay Leno. Oh, you guys.
man.
I can't believe I didn't do it. My comedy hero steps out on the stage first, Jonathan Winters.
No,
Oh,
it
no
was
way.
Johnny Carson was your, and then he passed away, and we had to hear you talk about it.
Okay, so Jonathan Winters
Number 2 guy.
steps out
still.
on stage.
That's big.
Jonathan Winters is a guy a couple years ago on The Tonight Show made Robin Williams couldn't even sit
Hang
in
with
his
him.
seat.
Jonathan Winters is ridiculously
Yeah.
funny.
Really? I've never
Jonathan
heard of this
Winters.
guy.
Really?
Oh, McGill.
What has he
He's-
done?
No, no,
He
no,
plays
he's-
World of Warcraft.
You should know.
Awesome.
Second Life? Ever heard of it?
Jonathan Winters,
All right.
Richard Lewis, Paula Poundstone, Jay Leno was there, Bill Maher.
That's an unbelievable.
They
one.
had some.
What
some
is
of the old
something that
guys.
the Winters person has done?
Winners.
He's just super funny.
What's one thing? You can't even
he's
name
old
it.
school. Mort Saul is 80 years old. Mort Saul paved the way for political comedy. He changed like the dress code of comedians from suits and ties. He wore a sweater and he came out holding a newspaper. So like any young comedian like
Seinfeld?
No, political Bill Maher, Jon Stewart, all those guys. This guy paved the way.
follow
He's 80 years old. George Carlin was there. George Carlin was amazing.
He
was
unbelievable.
70 years old.
George Carlin,
70 years old. Richard Lewis was 60 years old. Leno's in his 50s.
Richard Lewis?
I was amazed at
Tell
how
me.
And did
old-
everybody do a few minutes up there? Or?
Yeah, everybody did about 10 minutes. They
That's
kind of
cool.
paid their
No
tribute
way.
to Mort Saul, and then they did their...
You got to see the comedy giants of the world.
Well, there's one guy that was the MC. It was kind of funny because
Wow.
Larry King was supposed to be the MC, and he couldn't. I think he was out with Barrison.
Yeah.
Buying some
Drew
new
Carey was there
suspenders.
too.
No.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Oh,
It's unbelievable.
shoot.
That's like
What
your
about,
favorite thing ever right there.
Oh, Kathy and I were thrilled out of our mind.
You were in
but
seventh heaven.
driving home, they shut all these different freeways down, and it took us about 2 hours to get
yeah.
to get home. It was unbelievable. Anyway, Ross Schaefer, Comedy Ross, who was on episode 4 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Our
We only
comedy
had him
coach,
once.
if you're
He-
old school.
He put this whole thing together.
He's the one that
very
organized it?
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
because
cool.
Mort
He's the
Saul,
man.
this guy who's 80 years old, fell on some hard times and the whole bit, and he's kind of been this, legend to these guys, and so they put this benefit concert.
No matter
to-
how hard the times were, I'm sure he never lost his sense of humor.
That's correct.
That's right.
is
And that's
true.
important
Whoa,
during hard
what a
times.
cool night.
Anyway,
Attitude
yeah,
is
it was
everything.
very, very fun.
That's awesome.
All right, we got great questions this week. So the moral of the
You
question
just broke your
story
rule.
is-
You said a few minutes ago.
Oh,
say that we
yeah.
have questions, not great
no,
questions.
we do have great questions.
You know,
No, I
say
think-
we have gear, not great gear. I've got a joke, not a great joke.
Well, it's really a rule for you
Mort
guys.
Mort
It's
Saul.
really not the rule for me.
Mort Saul would not be happy with that.
All right. Well, Matt,
great.
Yes.
great timing for this question, and it's not even a question. I just went to my
Your
other pile.
humor pile.
Andrew Sweet, Director of Youth Ministry, Crosswind United Methodist Church, Logansport, Indiana. Based on last week's podcast and some of the earlier podcasts, can we go back to voting whether or not Matt should be on the podcast?
That hurts.
Oh.
Well, what's the answer to that question? That is a question.
So what is the answer?
I think you're here to stay.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is
we
from
could vote.
Chad Bear. Doesn't
The
say
church
where
is a
he's from.
democracy.
Just want to say Jana rules.
Oh, wait a minute.
Put me down for 4 goats for the Free Natalie Fund.
What? She's not locked up.
I don't know.
Maybe
Right
she
over
thinks
there.
Brazel locked her to the computer.
Well, then it says
Oh,
fire
that's-
Andy. Ha ha. Hope everyone except Andy has a great July.
Oh, that's awesome. This
I know.
is
Wow.
great.
Andy's not even on the podcast, and he's getting.
He's
ripped.
kind of the bad guy, though. I mean, we're good cops, and he's the bad guy.
Well,
Wow.
here's another one from Eudora, Kansas. Eudora United Methodist Church.
Ooh,
This is
excellent
Chad.
email program.
Too long to read the whole stuff, but some ideas on what to do on a podcast. But he said, I'm going to miss Natalie because I don't know anything about youth ministry, and Natalie was the person that I related to on the podcast. When Doug, Josh, and Matt said something insightful, I would normally just think to myself, interesting, in the same way Natalie did. I just thought that was
that's
very
so
cute
cute.
because
Wow.
Natalie would just interesting. Anyway,
That's fun.
Matt, did you turn yourself down before you
He
coughed?
did.
I did. I did.
He did. That was
Okay.
impressive.
It was the
Now,
wrong
all of our
mic,
mics
but-
picked it up, but
Yeah.
All right. This is from Chuck Aiden.
Wait a minute, Brazel, did you hear me cough?
I did.
But loud, so did it hurt? Okay, good.
like soft.
Brazel's
So we're
checking the
pretty
sound.
excited about the new equipment. When's it coming, Andy?
New computer, new
Next
new sound
week?
board.
Next week?
Sweet.
Is it?
Can we do the show at my house on the 4th of July?
Probably not.
No.
that'd be
Yeah, because it's going to be a setup. It's going to be a desktop
What?
computer.
What are we
Oh.
gonna do with the old? We have an 8-banger coming now. Is that right?
Eight
Yeah.
soundboard.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Impressive.
We're also working on a way that people can listen to the show live when it's recorded over audio.
Can listen to the show
Really?
live when it's
Stream
recorded
it
on-
live.
Wait, do we want that?
Oh.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, that's all right, but we never know when we're going to do it.
Yeah, it'd just be
Except
right
we're going to do it every
It'd
week.
be impromptu.
We could send out a quick email and say, "Hey, we're about to."
live.
We'd have to do that on a day Matt was sick or something.
Yeah, we've edited like 3
Oh,
shows. Are we sure?
No, can you record live? Like, will they be able to record
It's
it coming
the
into their
10-second
computer?
delay.
No, they just stream it. They keep
As long
it
as
up.
we have a button that says,
McGill.
Yeah.
We've only edited twice.
You've only edited me twice, and
And
both
so
were
far.
very legitimate and very funny.
But
No.
completely and wholly
Inappropriate.
Well,
Well, inappropriate.
let's put them in genres. One was politically incorrect.
Correct.
One was nasty.
Over the line. Over the line.
Yeah.
You know what? Compared to that email you read about the young boy who fell off of the.
Yeah.
It was.
I was just.
It-
I know.
you
I know.
know-
I regretted reading it. We got about. I don't know, some emails that said
Yeah.
funniest thing I've ever read, and a couple that said can't believe you
Inappropriate.
read it.
Yeah, a little over the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I agree.
Was there any like super angry people?
No.
I, like
Just
I would like to
yeah.
respond to them and say,
I shield
You're a
you from
moron.
those. Don't worry.
Nah,
We
I
don't
mean,
get
the
it.
new
girls.
Matt,
couple
the new
said,
Matt,
"What
the
were you
new
guys
Matt
thinking?"
doesn't
I went, "Ah,
respond.
you're right. You probably weren't thinking.
But this show won't include any treadmill stories.
Here we go.
It's our guarantee.
I am small group pastor for students for our church, which includes 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 9th through 12th, so basically high school. Our 7th and 8th graders meet at the church on Wednesday nights, and our 9th through 12th grades meet in homes throughout the week. I'm looking to reevaluate our system and want to get a recommitment from the leaders. I want to be fair to the leaders, but I also want them to be committed to our program. I want the leaders to attend our large group service on Sundays as well as our small group each week. What type of commitment do you ask from for your volunteers, and do you have a commitment form that I could use as a guide for my volunteers?
I'd like to start by saying, great question.
Wow, you were right, Doug. This is a great question.
No, that's a good question.
It is.
Well, I would think this is the perfect time to do it. I mean, you're in the summer. You're probably taking the summer off, so
So
way
it's
to
a good
go.
time to reevaluate.
Yeah, this is the time to do it. So I think
Okay.
that's a.
Let's see if Josh
valuable
knows the
observation.
standard PDYM answer, though.
Well, but let's first of all, it says, what do we ask for your volunteers?
Yeah.
Is that the one you want it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if he knows.
Well,
the
and
standard-
yeah.
Is it standard PDYM or is it standard?
Standard HSM, standard
Is it-
student administration.
Well, I'd like to give it a label and say the
I
standard.
was thinking it would be standard, the standard answer I give, but I give it at PDYM.
Yeah.
So
I
okay,
just
Well, if
signed.
you want to
I
mince
just signed the
meat.
commitment form. I don't even know.
You didn't even look?
Didn't even look at it.
He
All right.
knew he was going to break the
No, I would
commitment,
say church attendance is required and expected. Probably growing on your own would be a legitimate thing, and commitment to 1 year, at least the full year, no half years if at all possible. I would say that's probably good enough.
yeah. Well,
Is he asking about commitment to the student service or the adult service though?
no, he's asking about what type of commitment do you ask from your volunteers?
Yeah,
So-
we have an annual form that you sign the bottom of. You read.
Yes.
There's a few more
Yeah,
commitments.
I
than
think
that,
the
but-
context of this though is, do you ask them for Sunday as well as small group? It was
That's
more
what-
of
yeah, that's
attendance.
what I was wondering.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering if Josh knew the standard Doug Fields PDYM.
Oh, wow.
Jesus answer.
Well, that's what I would require. I think that's fine.
Yeah, what we do is we have chosen not to get essay.
Yeah.
You want to do Sunday, great. If you want to do small group, great. You don't have to do them both.
Yeah.
We'd rather have him committed to one thing than flaky at
And there's
both.
probably a clause in there that
Yes.
says.
Can you hear Matt with his little gentle new Matt voice? Could you hear him? Okay.
There's probably a clause in there that
It's
talks
a
about
warmer, kinder, more gentler Matt.
Uh-huh.
lifestyle and commitment to.
I'm
you know,
imagining
Okay, but
warm
you're
being
milk,
above reproof and all that stuff.
Cookies.
Right?
Reproof?
Yeah.
Reproof?
fireplace.
Yeah.
What
So,
is-
I mean, I think those are other commitments, but the bottom line is right.
Okay, so let's call that B.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a form that we have
Yeah.
that he says, do you have a commitment form as a guide? Yes, we do. It's in PDYM. It's in our resource notebook.
It's
Yeah.
in our resource notebook.
So
I'm not
research,
sure it's in
research
the.
has it, yeah.
It's in
You know?
PDYM.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
let's
formatted
let's-
in-
No,
back-
no, I'm not putting money
Oh,
on
well,
It's
it.
format-
format.
lunch.
It's
Here we go.
formatted in taco salad font.
Yeah.
Oh.
If it is there, it is in that font. I
Yeah,
will
we got
agree with
we
that.
got a link to taco salad font so people can enjoy that on their Microsoft Word.
But what we ask for is a commitment to at least one. Matt
Yeah.
said it in his tiny breath, but it was the we'd rather.
You don't trust Brazel that they could hear it.
Quiet voice.
No, I'm just repeating it.
Okay.
Just make sure.
Just clarify.
Yeah, that we ask people to be committed to one. But if he's a leader and he wants them at Sunday and at midweek, then
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, I mean,
Brazel shaking his head no.
I wouldn't do it.
well, yeah,
Just
but
too high of a
Brazel.
commitment.
Yeah, too much.
It's a
of
lot
a
to
Sure,
ask
and
of somebody.
some older school churches have Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. They have a children's program and a student. I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. Otherwise,
Yeah.
no one's going to ever be home with their family.
Yeah.
We just choose to draw it on there.
Well, the reality is
Jesus said, "If you don't hate your mother and father and brothers and sisters," I mean, serious.
Which means-
years ago, I used to have people committed to everything that I went to. I figured, hey, if I'm going to everything, so should my volunteers.
yeah.
And then realized once we didn't have very many volunteers, maybe I need to rethink that system.
There's this tumbleweed that went by, and then you're like, wait, what?
You're like,
Yeah.
this is why I'm at everything.
So then decided, if people want to
Yeah.
be committed to the weekend, let's get them committed to the weekend. If they want to do a small group, great. Andy has just chimed in to say he would only do a small group, not a weekend. He's got a young family. He's got a child that's being dedicated tomorrow. Carter James Brazelton.
1 year
Then in your
old.
twilight
That's
years,
awesome.
you decided to show up to nothing and have the volunteers be at everything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Twilight.
Twilight. You and Mort
Twilight
fell
year.
in some hard times at the end of his career.
So he can get that form. Why don't we just
At
link to
least
that
Doug's
form?
got
Are we
his
still
sense
doing
of
the
humor.
links?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's link to that form and just give it to him.
Give it to him. Done.
Yeah.
Done. I love it.
All right. Here, let's stick on a volunteer question here.
Okay.
My name is Joel Greenwood from Fairview
Excellent
Missionary
question,
Church
Joel.
in Jola, Indiana. I have a short and simple question.
I'll be the judge of that.
We have
It's a
two
great
It looks
volunteers.
short.
We have two volunteers who are husband and wife that
Jana is
help
really
out.
the expert on short.
Hey.
Sorry.
We have two volunteers who are husband and wife that help out in our ministry a lot, and they have 4 children. They always want to help and come to events, and they want to bring their children along with them. At first, this didn't bother us, but their children aren't always the best behaved, and most of the time they want to participate
No.
in the events with teens, and their parents never tell them no.
No.
I
What do you
no.
do when you have volunteers who want to help but have children?
No.
All right, next
They
question. Matt's
bring with
covered
them.
this one.
Although I will say I got into a trap once where we let on 2 staff people who brought their kids regularly, and after a couple months it became uncomfortable. I'm actually not sure I ever dealt with that head on.
Well, it's just distracting. I mean, you have to probably say, get a sitter or find somebody, run them over to mom and dad.
Yeah.
But we
They
would say
can't
that
be
there's
at-
appropriate times for them to bring their kids. I
Yeah,
mean, we
4th
Yeah.
of July, for example.
Mexico.
no Mexico. We've allowed them to do
Yeah.
some trips with kids.
But your weekend service, or your midweek, whatever, you can't have kids running
Right.
around.
Well,
the
here's
room.
the tough thing.
There'd be-
He goes into a little bit of background. They're really good friends with these people. They're in their early 30s. This youth guy
Oh.
that's riding is 25. And so, like when I came to Saddleback in 92 and there was just barely any volunteers, I set it up by saying, you know what, my kids are going to be with me at certain things that I want them to be with me at, but
Yeah.
this is not open game for everybody. I just set it up that way. It wasn't like I walked into a situation where there was already a bunch of kids. So, for example, about 5-6 years ago, it felt like many of our volunteers were bringing their babies
Yeah.
to Sunday morning, and you'd walk in, and it just felt like lactation city.
Strollers
Oh
everywhere.
yeah. You had to
there
fight
was
this-
like stroller parking in the back
Yeah,
of the
Yeah.
room.
So a 17-year-old is looking in, going, "Really?"
Yeah.
And then walks up to big church or
and
whatever.
and that was the hey you guys.
What was the birth of the wet nurse ministry? Is that inappropriate?
I don't know.
That's right.
Not even sure what that means.
Yeah.
But we had to.
There'll be a
I just
Wikipedia
pushed the
article.
map button if we were live.
we had
Just
to
to be
address
safe.
that and say, you guys,
Yeah.
it looks like childcare when you walk in. Sorry.
Yeah. If
this,
they're good friends, you should be able to talk to them and tell them about this.
There's just enough distractions in a youth service already. If you add babies, you've lost the girls, and if you add, kids, you've lost the guys.
Well, you've got children ranging the children that are there are from 5 to 13. So the 13-year-old's, already a teenager. So there's just times where you have to just be really honest and say that this is a distraction. I know we've done it in the past.
Right.
Hey, starting in the fall, give them some
Right.
head notice.
Time to plan, time to think
plan,
differently.
think through babysitter, and you may just lose those volunteers for a season. But I think it's
And
good.
some friends.
I think it's good. Well, if they're really good friends, they can have a.
I was kidding.
We had some volunteers in Michigan that would actually watch people's kids during the student ministry time so that people with kids could serve. So that's an option too.
That's a great idea.
Have somebody watch the kids at a house, down the street.
Or
Have
in
somebody
another room in a
watch the
church.
kids?
Yeah, even just in another room.
Yeah, Josh, that may be the best idea you've ever come up with.
Really?
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
so.
It lasted about 3 weeks, but but thanks.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
That was a good idea.
I'll
That's
be
a
the
great
judge of
question.
that.
Great idea.
Great. This is just a
We got great
show.
people on the podcast.
It's a great
Brazelton?
morning.
Great Brazel's ghost. Everything.
Okay, so one, we need to be very clear on this one.
Yeah.
If I'm the leader, I got to be very clear when kids can show up and when they can't.
Are you making some notes to send this guy an email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Two, Josh, you take
No.
care of this.
Got it. Hold on.
Have the tough conversation. Give them some lead time.
Mhm.
Give them some lead time with this. But that's just part of being a leader, whether you're 25 or 55. Like
Yeah, there's definitely
Jana.
hard things to say.
you gotta step up and say, you know
Jana?
what, it's getting a little out of control. And in September, you get 2 months head start. Make something.
There you go.
There you go.
I think that was a good question, though.
Change
It was
the
a good
code.
question.
And there's nothing wrong with people
That
with
was
4 kids.
was that
Let
your
me tell you
temptation?
something. Let me tell you something
Well, I
that
don't
has
know.
happened in the Fields family. Just that might lend some insight to this. My youngest, Cassie, went into 7th grade. Went into the junior high service 1 week early. She's been begging to get out of 5th and 6th grade Sunday school type thing and go to junior high early. We kept saying no. We stopped bringing her to things. We wanted to create a little distance in the youth ministry. Now, she came to stuff when she was little, but then there was a time where we just go, look, no more youth group stuff. And the excitement for her going in last week was unbelievable.
And you let her go in early, so you gave
We let her 1 week early. It was like,
After holding on, though.
but
yeah.
you know what? She
It's an
treated it like
amazing
she
lack
was
of integrity.
she was a Secret Service person. Like, shh, shh, my dad has let me come in 1 week early. She told some of the leaders that. I know you probably shouldn't. I know it's next week that all the incoming sons come, but my dad.
That is
said-
so cute.
my
That's
dad-
She's kind of
awesome.
a rule follower, so I'm surprised that she would go in 1 week early.
But that's
That's funny.
big time, though.
Well,
That'll
she has a lot of
change in
friends that
junior
are
high.
that are in 7th grade, so she was just hung with them. But she just thought it was the coolest thing to go in a week early. But
That's good.
we also kept her out of youth
Yeah,
ministry.
you built
for-
the anticipation.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks she'll be ready for high school. And
Yeah.
3 weeks after that she'll be ready for college.
She'll
They
be
just
in college
grow up
next
so
year.
fast.
Yes, they do.
Just
Hey, congratulations! Your oldest graduated
Oh, yeah.
high school.
We should definitely talk about
Oh,
that. And we're done talking about that.
Yeah.
oh man,
Yes.
Oh,
I have cried more this week, just at dumb times.
dude, it's a big deal.
Well,
I
it'll
think.
be a big deal when we send her to college. But graduating high school, it wasn't that big a deal. We knew it was coming. But there was just
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
working
a
You
in
don't
the-
know
deal.
college is
That's
coming,
why
though?
you-
Yeah, I know college is
Crying.
coming, but
Yeah.
she's not gonna be home at night. That's the thing. We were eating dinner the other night. Tori was actually, my oldest, was leading her C group away from, she's a small group leader for a junior high group.
Mhm.
And Cassie is praying around the dinner table and said, Lord, help us get used to 4 people at the dinner table. I was like,
That's
awesome.
unbelievable.
Lord,
So
don't
is
answer
she
that
looking?
prayer.
Is she excited to move into Tori's room or something?
No, that's a big debate going on right now.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But
Here's the
yeah.
field house.
We were Tori and
yeah.
Tori and I were looking at pictures on my computer,
Mm-hmm.
and Tori kind of turned around and said something and I just started crying, and I was like crying, not like I wasn't shaking, but my eyes swelled up and the tears were dropping on the ground. I mean, Tori goes, Dad, you're getting the floor all wet. I mean, they weren't like rolling down my cheek, because, partly we were looking at the computer, so my face was turned that way, but they were just so heavy, they were just hitting the ground.
So there wasn't a lot of them, but they were big.
They were great
It was
tears.
like-
They were- I'm just trying to, to understand. Were they extra salty?
I
Absolutely.
Didn't taste
I
them.
always have.
You should have.
This is from Doug Royal, Director of Youth Ministry, Our Lady of Lourdes, Columbia, Missouri.
Wow.
Wait a minute. A guy with the last name of Royal works at a church called Our Lady of Lourdes.
He's royalty.
Our world is beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
There's a poetry to this, isn't there?
There is.
What's this question, Doug? I bet it's great.
There are several. It's a great question. There are several family, and continue to send in your great questions to podcast@simplyyouthministry.com, and Josh will get them to me sometime before the show.
Sometime around 1 a.m.
There are several families with multiple sons in our ministry. In most cases, I have a great relationship with one son, but an average relationship with the other.
So you play favorites.
I feel awkward
No.
when I hang out at their house or take one son out for lunch while leaving the other one behind. How would you handle this? Would you invite the brothers to hang out together or try to reach them separately? I'm sure the parents have noticed the situation. Would you talk to them about it?
It's a good question. I'm actually
It's an interesting question.
Replaying some of the brother relationships over the last years. That's
No, I think that's a typical thing.
Yeah.
As far as I've noticed in my own ministry, I mean, a lot of times two brothers are really different, you know, and different. You connect with different kinds of people. I think it depends on what the brothers are, and it depends on what you're taking them out. If you're going to hang out and just shoot the breeze, then yeah, of course, invite the other brother along. But if it is something that's a little bit deeper or more serious or more meaningful or whatever, and
Or
you
to,
don't force
if
it.
you're going to disciple one, you connect with one naturally,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. You don't tune out the other person or treat them poorly, but you're just going to connect better with some and not with others. And hopefully someone in your ministry will connect with.
So I was just going to say,
With that.
I would
Yeah.
hope they would get connected.
And if you're only connecting with the older brothers and not the younger ones in all those situations that you're talking about, I think that's an interesting thing to be extra sensitive, because the younger brother is always thinking that they're walking in the
Okay,
shadow.
Yeah,
that's
they're
why I
already
said it. Because as
insecure.
a parent, I would just like to see you make the effort to connect with both of them. Like if you're coming to my house to pick up my older son, I would just like to see you make the effort. I'm not saying I understand natural connection and some are easy, some are hard.
Yeah.
but
If you ignore
if
them,
you've made an effort, then
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Or an effort
That's
to
an
not
interesting
only with them relationally, but to get them connected at least
Yeah.
with somebody. Because the reality is, we all connect with different personalities, and that's where the lead youth workers, they can't pastor everyone. They can pastor some, but our goal is to make sure everybody's
Yeah.
pastored.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some families where well, one brothers, I was friends with both of them because they were twins. I mean, they were really close. They got along,
Yeah.
and they were, they were great.
It was twice the fun.
But it was double the fun, actually.
Double
Just
the
like
gum.
the gum. Yeah, we always chew gum. It's good. So, but then there's been times where there hasn't.
that was,
Yeah.
if we could edit dumbness, we
Yep.
cut that out.
We
Well, I don't-
we
well,
Go ahead.
we would be cutting a lot out of this podcast if we were editing
All right.
that. So, yeah,
I think it's an interesting observation, though.
yeah.
Brothers, sisters.
All right, Andy, what about your brother? When Andy was in high school, I didn't spend time with his brother.
Nope,
Spend time with Andy.
It's true.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yep. Didn't have a brother.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like,
Andy doesn't.
even just me and Jake, we were best buddies. But Matt hung out with Jake. He didn't necessarily,
Well, it's
And you're,
because
like,
Doug
scarred by
told me.
that,
I was
though.
just going to say, and it looks like it still hurts him a little bit. I just,
He's like bent
those
right
big
now.
tears are
Now-
coming out of Andy's eyes right now.
Can the people hear this? That you're
Him and Jake naturally connected more so than me and Matt did.
Well, Doug told me I wasn't allowed to hang out with you.
Yeah, he actually said to avoid.
You were
which was
Doug's
weird.
favorite student for like 10 years.
That's not true.
That's
Andy's
totally
still
true.
I
my
would say
favorite student.
6,
Yeah.
7 at least.
He likes you more than he liked me when I was in high school.
That is true.
that's-
Well, he liked,
We're going to get. You know
Andy
what?
didn't mess things up as much. Andy fixed
He didn't
things
break
instead of breaking
anything.
them.
God.
Yeah.
I could call Andy and say, Andy, can you come over and fix stuff? Can you come over and babysit? Can you
Yeah.
come over and clean the garage? Can you come over and
babysit,
ship
yeah.
product?
Fix, yeah.
Can you take my Christmas lights down in August?
Oh,
Did you do that?
Hey,
in
but
August?
when you needed to have someone get rid of your cat, who did you call?
I called you and you failed.
You know,
What?
I can't help it if your cat pulled an old Yeller and came across 4 counties and came back home.
How far away did you take his cat? Honestly, was it a long way?
It was like 5 miles.
No, dude, you took it from my house
down the block. Probably.
to
To Tustin.
Cynthia's house.
No. I didn't take it back to where I was living.
Okay, we shouldn't tell this story because my kids are going to hear this.
Wait, I never heard this story. I'm
Oh, the cat
Oh,
came
this
back.
the cat that you guys still have to this day.
I just
Well,
asked Matt if he could somehow
Oh, guys, kids, I don't know where the cat is.
put the cat in a shelter. We lived in a place where coyotes were going to get it, and I was just scared. And anyway, Douglas Royal,
Oh yeah, Doug.
he
Forgot
said,
about you, sir.
and thank you to the team of Simply Youth Ministry.
You're
I
welcome.
love ordering
you
from you.
are welcome.
That's a great compliment. He just
You.
gave
Your
us.
order confirmation emails are great.
Oh,
Andy.
I'd like to take credit for those.
I got
And
a
you
letter from
deliver
Andy.
things crazy fast.
Crazy
true.
fast.
Wow, that
Easy
is.
do.
fast.
Well, I think that's probably UPS that's doing that. But
No.
thank
No,
you.
we send them out same
99%
day.
of our orders ship same day.
99%.
Same day. A lot of
Same
other
day.
youth ministry resource companies, same hour.
Before you order
Because
some
Matt has purchased so many. All right,
of
let's
his
keep
own
going.
book.
This is from Mike Connor.
do I even
Can
have
you see
books?
Jana in the video? Okay.
I just don't. It's a lot more effort for me to like turn
No,
around
that's
and wave
all right.
than. No, I can see.
Just kind of hiding behind your hair. Hey, podcast team, I greatly appreciate and enjoy your weekly, monthly, semi-annual show. Whatever the schedule,
Oh.
keep it up. Here's my question. My official title is Associate/Youth and Children's Minister. I'm
Great.
responsible for all students and pre-K children. So basically, he does everything but
Yeah.
nothing well.
Yeah, I'd like to
Because
see his
you-
unofficial title.
One of my major now Mike, I'm sure you do everything well at Midway Baptist Church. I
Doug
think
really believes that.
I think the bigger the title, the more difficult it is to.
It's a great
That
title.
is true. That is true.
When
I
people
would say
when
it's
people
not
tell me
uncommon.
they've got, youth and children, I go, wow, what?
Well, and associate, which is this kind of catch-all, you're going to do weddings, funerals, fill the pulpit, everything else too. So
Yeah.
good luck.
I'm responsible for all students and pre-K children. One of my major duties in the summer is camp. I plan and organize a camp for middle and high school students and one of our elementary students.
If he's doing all that stuff, he doesn't have time to be listening to this podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot more
It might be
important.
it might be his only relief in the whole week, though. This might be the greatest joy of his life.
Well,
I
there's
doubt
no
it.
doubt it's the greatest joy of his life. I'm just saying.
Now I feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
We
me
do
too. Should we send him
fundraisers
something?
Why
to
you go,
cover
Andy?
the cost of these camps, but it has been extremely hard to raise money this year. How do you cover these? Would parents covering costs be better? Should I budget for camp? Any thoughts would be great. Jana, you're a financial
she
wizard.
has a
gosh.
degree in special events.
Yeah,
Well,
It's true.
we
masters.
some of
That's a degree.
them that are hello. Some of them that are more
right.
expensive, we do tend to try and add a little bit of our own budget to them to help, so the cost is not so expensive. For,
Defray, so to
Yeah.
speak.
but I mean
Offset.
it's hard. Camp is hard and expensive, and
Debits.
we always, I mean, Doug, you're the greatest at asking people who don't have kids in our ministry or people who are willing to give towards things like camp and stuff like that. So we have scholarships available. But it's hard. Camp's hard. Raising money for camp is.
Yeah. Here's kind of my overarching philosophy of camps, and then, Matt, you can fill in the blank of what I've forgotten. Is I think when it comes to camps, we don't want to make money, but we don't want to lose money
Right.
on camps. So to create a budget for camp, if I also am going to choose a camp that I think is a realistic hit for families, and I want to try to, if I have the potential, to put some money from our church budget into the camp. So if the camp's going to cost us X amount,
What does camp cost?
I don't know.
$400
The
a
girly
month.
trip my daughter signed up for cost $99.
Oh,
But,
that's awesome. There's no way camp costs $99 though.
It's only
Well,
a
it's like a
2-day camp.
2-day
Yeah.
thing.
It's
yeah.
only one
Yeah,
night.
'cause a week
So
is
if
like
I can, we put some money from the budget in. But
Yep.
typically that takes a couple of years to
Yeah.
get it approved, to get it,
Yeah.
going. I
And
will
that's
ask,
to
like
kinda
Jana
pay for
said, I
leaders
tend to
and-
ask people, would you mind? I got to be really careful with this because I don't want people to cut into their tithes. I tell them this would be above and beyond, but we want to start a scholarship.
Right.
So kind of the thing with kids we've said is we don't want money to be an issue to keep you from camp. So in order to say that, I got to find money. So, but people with any type of means are usually willing to send a kid to camp, where they're more willing to do something like that than, help rent a van or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
It's a nice, tangible, feel-good thing too. You made a difference in a particular kid's life. Here's where your money went. It's really easy to see.
yeah.
The other thing though is we a few times have had to evaluate, is this camp worth the cost for our students?
Yeah.
And we've had to change directions completely and say, it's not. We can't expect parents to pay this much, and so this summer we're going to do something different. Or we've rotated summers.
Are you
where,
thinking about Camp Cruise on that one?
well, I'm thinking about houseboats and going to Camp Cruise, and then going from Camp Cruise to the
Yeah.
road trip camps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that
Yeah.
one of the questions he says, would parents covering the cost be better? As a parent of teenagers, Cody goes to baseball camp, that costs me. Goes to football camp, that costs me. Go to any type of camp is costing me. So as long as it's within that realistic range, just because people go to church and tithe doesn't mean camp should be free.
Yeah.
There are costs to it.
Well, there's other ways to get creative too. I mean, the church could pay certain fees, like they could pay the transportation fee, or if you're renting a bus or you've got a van going, they could cover those costs, and the kids just pay for camp. Maybe you pick up a meal on the way, so maybe you don't have to actually defray the registration fee, but you can get them there and back and pay for a
Well,
leader.
the meal thing, that's actually an easy way to save money, is that when you do camp, you say
True.
bring money for a lunch on the way there and lunch on
True.
the way back. So that
Yeah, you
that's
remember
a little
that? We
bit-
were looking at like Forest Home or something like that. We cut, I can't remember how much out, but
Yeah.
what they charge for meals is high, and so we went, forget the Friday night dinner.
Yeah, we'll
eat
just do
before
it.
you come,
Right.
and then we'll leave before
the last
Sunday
lunch or
lunch.
whatever,
Yeah.
Well, the two things, we mentioned this last week, was one, at Saddleback we can't do any fundraising. They just have a policy, you're not allowed to do that. But the other thing, too, that we did mention last week, and I don't know if it's helpful or not, but helpful is not a criteria for when I say something, is that all the tithes that's collected in high school ministry goes to a scholarship fund. And so,
That's neat.
yeah, so all the tithes that come into the high school ministry basket or whatever is that goes directly to high school students going into camp. And so
So-
we tell all our volunteers to tithe there. And, just
Large checks coming
just
into
kidding,
that.
but
No, that's really
but
a great.
but that could be something too, where you're encouraging your students to tithe, and you don't even need to say, hey, tithe, because
Yeah, I'm
this
not
is
even sure
gonna
our
go
kids
back.
know that.
No, our kids,
our kids don't know
that.
that.
Yeah,
No,
I was going to say,
I'm-
I'm not even sure I would want them to.
No, I was going to say I don't want them to know that. I mean, that's not the
Right.
idea of tithing, but that is a neat way, I think,
Okay.
to offset that.
I like it. Well, we got 2 fundraiser ideas of all the emails that came in. We had 2 fundraiser
Well,
Well,
ideas.
didn't you have a really good fundraiser idea? What's that?
I shared it last week.
Dang it! I was going to try and get you to say it again.
Uh,
Wow,
he's got a great mind.
that is a steel trap.
I never
Only
drink
for
diet drinks before 8 in the
You know,
morning.
the only thing that gets out of that steel trap is large, salty tears.
Splash.
Yep.
One of the simplest fundraising ideas is from Joe Nyquist, North Branch United
Should we
Methodist
try to
Church,
make Doug
North Branch,
cry?
Minnesota.
Right now.
No, you can't
couldn't.
do that.
That'd be impossible.
Ooh.
One of the simplest fundraiser ideas that I have had success with was finding a used pop machine on Craigslist.
What's pop?
Just so you guys know, pop is soda.
Okay.
Pop is everywhere else in America they call it pop or Coke.
Really?
Kind of like
And here we
Coke.
say soda. Yeah.
Really? Is
Coke,
that true?
Pop. Yep. There you go. Okay.
Wow.
continue.
I
Like
just asked,
Coke
what is pop?
Could be anything. Like
Right,
Coke can be
anything. Coke can
like
be
You can
Diet
say-
Pepsi.
Were you serious when you said what is pop?
Well,
It's
I just
kind of a bit,
I
though.
knew what it is
Oh, okay.
because of sugar pops, but I just didn't. I didn't.
Soda pop.
Yeah, I've just never. I don't hear people say pop.
Well,
Right,
I
that's
that's
thought,
why I
not
thought it'd be a
Southern
good
California
I
vernacular.
thought pops said
Yeah.
pop.
And when
you
he
know.
was doing it coming from Michigan, I thought he was like very serious and trying to explain.
No,
that.
I thought you were introducing a bit, and I was going to go with you on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
There you
look.
go. And
Soda
we're back.
Pop machine. Here we go.
Most
Edit
of my
button.
students were bringing their own pop.
Now, what's Craigslist?
See, in Southern California, most of my students bringing their own pop. We would think their dad.
Oh,
You are.
The bell. We need to put that on eBay.
We need to.
Gotta
Didn't
get
you say that
I
last
meant
week?
to put it on there, but I've been really busy doing something.
I'm busy.
They bring their own pop to the youth service, but now they use the machine because they know that all the money goes back to the youth ministry. I have a number of families that are willing to buy whatever is on sale at the grocery store to stock the machine, thus eliminating all cost. Good continual payout,
Wow.
little effort on the part of the youth ministry team, and gives the students opportunity to help support their ministry. Sounds like a good fundraiser to me.
I think that's where I would
Yeah.
tithe.
That's a
Put in your
clever
dollar.
idea.
Yeah, gouge
Vending
the students
machine?
for more money. Excellent. Just kidding.
Just kidding. He thinks it's
I
brilliant.
wasn't serious.
All right, here's one.
Everyone looked at me as if I was, though. No, I really think that's a great idea.
Like we needed your validation.
Thank you for that. All right.
I mean,
number
just like
two.
the money changers in Temple Courts liked it, too.
Yeah.
And this is what. All right, go ahead.
Kevin
No.
Hauser from First Baptist Church, Mira Mesa. Our church doesn't do fundraisers either, but I heard
So
this is a
spiritual.
good one. Prank Flamingo fundraiser. You guys know what's coming?
Oh yeah.
I don't. Do they do this in every other place but
Yeah, it's called Pop.
Can't you only do this in Florida?
This kind of
It's
sounds
easy,
funny.
But I was trying to come
All
up with an acronym for POP with flamingos, and I
pink?
couldn't. Buy 20
There
to
we
40 plastic yard pink flamingos.
Okay.
The basic setup is someone, person A in the church, buys the prank to be played on another person, person B in the church. The youth go set up all the flamingos in that person B's yard. Then that person has to pay to have them removed and also to pay to play the prank on someone else. You can keep it simple or you can get it more organized and set it up where people can buy insurance so that when the prank is played on them, the prank backfires on the one who bought the prank, and this continues as long as needed, and you can have as many prank teams as you want.
That's just really good fun.
That
At
is
the
fun.
very least.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that
The
is
insurance part is really clever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh, if I could buy
Can
toilet
you
paper
imagine?
insurance, that you know how much money would be made on that one?
No. A lot.
A great amount. All right.
Unbelievable.
All right, 2
How
fundraiser ideas.
great thou
Keep sending in your questions to
art.
podcast@simplyyouthministry.com, and Josh will get them sometime.
How
At 1 o'clock.
Do my best.
Dear Doug and Gang, this is from Jeff Swanson. Please don't read my name on the pod. No, just kidding. It does. I just made that name up. It's somebody else. Congratulations on the big 50th. I
Thank
can
you.
hardly wait to watch the podcast. Were you checking to see?
I was. Because you're good.
Well, it wasn't
I
Jeff
still
Swanson.
wonder. Oh,
No, no,
impressive.
no,
Wow.
Oh,
Jeff Smith.
Yep.
Episode 47, you mentioned doing a question on maintaining balance as a single in youth ministry. You were going to be
Oh,
able
no.
to answer that question.
This
Or
is
were you gonna
Jana's
be-
department.
Knew this was coming. I knew it as soon as it said.
Oh,
Wow.
That's funny.
man.
Why was it Jana's department? Because she got married
Late.
later than you?
Well, how old were you when you got married?
28.
You know what? We were just such good friends that we always talked about singleness in Jana's life.
Okay.
Which I don't understand because she dated so many people.
She was really.
But didn't you have the crush on her? Or did she have the crush on you? Was it elementary school or junior high?
It's
Come
so
on.
funny.
Come on.
There was never a crush.
Where did that come from then?
You! It
Oh.
came from the first staff.
You
I
got a
agree. I agree.
Well, that's for
That's
sure.
a good bit then.
Yeah, I like
Such
it.
a good bit
It's
that it's a good
good
bit because
bit.
I've convinced myself that there actually was a crush. I forgot
You
it was a bit.
convinced yourself of so many things.
I think it was a great.
That's what you and I have in common.
All right.
Here we go.
I
Jeff,
was
what's
told
Can I get an
in-
amen?
in January.
Someone out there just said amen.
Thank you.
In January, I was told that I was no longer needed for our small group ministry, and that I needed to focus on the technical stuff of our ministry.
Oh,
My
that's-
requests to find out what I had
great.
done wrong were left unanswered. I emailed Andy Brazelton about what happened, and he prayed for me. Do you remember this, Andy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did you pray for him over the phone?
I think I called him.
Did you pray?
Maybe.
Pray for him on World of Warcraft?
Email prayers. Good.
Email prayers
Too.
are good.
I like those.
Can you email a prayer?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dear God, blah blah blah. Amen.
Can you sell one
Josh
on
is good at that.
Craigslist?
They're. I think they're powerful because not a lot of people don't pray over email.
Do you lay on your laptop
I
before
do.
you send it?
I do. And then Alt S.
And now you. And now you text prayers, huh?
And now he text prayers.
Yeah.
He
Give
can
me-
actually
shoot me
just
a text.
flex his stomach muscles so while
Hey,
he's on the laptop.
I've been working. on
You've
that.
also been. Next time we need to talk about World of Warcraft, your buddy, because haven't you met a youth ministry friend on World of Warcraft?
Oh, yeah.
That's not the guy?
Everybody, people already know about him. Yeah.
But they don't know that you guys are becoming like buddies. You talk every week,
Oh,
movies
yeah.
or do you
together.
talk every night?
No, I don't play every night.
I called Matt the other day, and I was put on hold. Like Misha said, he can't come to the phone right now. And I've
Totally.
in our entire relationship, I've never got. I mean, he could be on the toilet. He could be. He would pick up the phone, and I said, Misha, you can't come to the phone. And she goes, he can't. Doug, he can't come to the phone right now. And I went, he's playing a video game.
Yeah, and I didn't tell her not to say that. But yeah, because you don't understand. There was like 5 of us doing the same thing that you can't
can't
just
pause
stop.
it?
No, it's all real time.
In order to connect with Matt in the future, you're gonna have to actually play.
That's
World of Warcraft.
that's what's so funny about it. It's not
Should I
just
get
like
a headset?
for the game.
Here we go.
You could have.
Andy prayed for me. Recently, it slipped out that there are people who are quote-unquote concerned about an older guy like me working with youth. I'm
Slipped out from-
38 now.
He's not that old.
Yeah, come on.
I know.
But, I mean,
That was the
maybe
prime of
somebody
your
is
twilight years.
perceiving him to be old. So to keep these quote-unquote concerned people from talking too much negativity about the youth ministry, I have relegated to areas where I would have less contact with teens, like sound and media, and unless necessary, like transportation. My previous youth pastors that I worked under didn't have this concern. However, this new youth pastor does.
Well,
Is
that's
this a
bummer.
concern
Yeah.
for all youth groups that older single volunteers need to be moved away from working directly with teens?
Here's a little back. This guy's a super youth worker too. He flips his own bill to go to YS, his own travel. I mean, he bleeds youth ministry.
Okay, so
But
little
is
background.
he? And I don't know him.
And
So
what,
this is
could,
not.
could people hear you just say that?
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, I
That
think
he
so.
flips his
Yeah.
own bill to pay for things. Super youth worker.
He's a stud.
But
Stud.
I mean, and I don't know him. So this, please, whatever your name is,
Bill.
Bill.
Jeff Swanson.
This is not a. This maybe he's awkward around kids.
Well, if he's not
Right,
getting, here's
unintentionally.
bottom line. He needs
Yeah.
to get at the truth. Because one,
Yes.
38
yes.
isn't old. Single isn't damaged.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm saying
is
that's
it,
like
is it
1% chance.
Is it wise to be safe and say maybe this church needs to come up with a theory, which a lot of churches do, or a philosophy that says,
You
you
got
know, you
theories?
can't be alone with kids. You need,
Some guidelines, yeah.
some guidelines
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and then it doesn't sound like it's a one-on-one thing.
But if my request to find out what I had done wrong were left unanswered, my personality
That sucks.
would not allow that to be left unanswered.
Yeah, I would raise
Well,
Cain.
if it's too big of a problem, they would have asked him to leave the church, or they would have
No, because
confronted him.
churches are fake.
So they would have just relegated him to the
Yeah,
back room and
you'd
been
say,
done with it.
you know what, you're old, so can you just do this? Of course.
Well, 138
People are
isn't
fake.
old,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't even if it was 88.
Right.
Okay, which is old.
Right.
I saw it last night.
Yeah.
With it,
Mort,
In
funny
the mirror? Or
oh,
I'm trying to make him cry still.
Josh,
What was that
trust me.
dance?
That's
Just
a
now.
little robot dance, maybe.
it was the Natalie dance.
Oh no. We
Um,
all know what happened to her. It's only a matter of time before I leave the show. It's been nice, guys.
Well, actually, we had something we wanted to talk to you about.
yeah.
No,
you know what I
I'd
wrote?
sit that youth pastor down and say, "Listen, dude, just can you be straight with me?" And please, I'm not saying the guy doesn't get along with students. He's probably great if he's been doing youth ministry for any length of time. It doesn't. It's not youth ministry is not based on a personality. I want to be quick about that. I mean, there has been people that we have brought on our paid staff or our volunteer staff that I thought I would never hang out with you. I like you, but I would never hang out with you. And that person connects with a different kind of student. So it's not a personality thing, you know. But to be told, you know, go do the audio stuff so you're not hanging out with students.
Well,
I
in our
mean,
environment, it would be Dennis Beckner. Okay? In our environment, you got a single guy who's
Little
35. If we would say to Dennis, you need to do PowerPoint or you need to do tech.
And
We
not-
would never do.
and
Dennis
not
is
be a small
Dennis,
group leader
Dennis
and
is one
not-
of our best volunteers.
he's one of our best relational volunteers too. I mean, he is. I mean, he's
His
But
small
he's
group is
single and he's
connected. He's
35.
journeyed with them. He's done
he
life
takes
with them.
he's taken at least 2 groups of kids from freshman to senior, and
yeah, he's
and,
great.
Yeah, he's
So
unbelievable.
you know, maybe the
Interesting,
two
yeah.
options.
and
Maybe
he's dating somebody right now, so he might not be single for very long.
good for him.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe this guy should just get married. That'll solve all your problems.
Well,
Dude,
you got to get
Craigslist, get one of those Russian wives.
They're great.
you got to get after the truth. Because
Yeah,
number
I know.
one, either the youth pastor there has got some issues with you or single people, or two, you're awkward around kids, and that's probably not it.
Yeah, I mean, I threw that out there just as like a
Well, that's
maybe,
reality.
maybe.
You don't know.
Yeah,
But
so.
it's probably, in this case, it's probably not true.
Well, the overarching thing, really to understand, is that was a great question.
It was a great question. They're all great questions.
We have had great
Okay,
questions.
There
we
are
got
no
to
stupid
hustle.
questions.
We got 8 minutes left
Okay.
of tape, and we
Except
got
for dumb questions.
3 questions.
Here we go.
Brian Hagley is the junior high pastor at Highland Heights Baptist Church, Lynchburg, Virginia.
They gotta
Virginia.
change the name of that city. That is so stupid to me.
Lynchburg?
Yes.
You know,
What's wrong with
did
it?
you know that's where Liberty Baptist is? That's where Falwell's from.
Yes.
Falwell died a couple weeks ago. They're talking about renaming it to Falwell.
Really?
The city?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I just made that up. And
That's
got
a
all
great-
of you.
No, you didn't
Got
get
all
me.
of you.
I-
Yes, I
no,
did.
I
could
would
see it.
admit when you get me.
I just
Come
thought
on.
it was a little too much.
No,
I actually was barely listening
I
to
was
you.
thinking that was silly. I was not thinking
because
that
people
was-
are like, "Why Lynchburg? What's wrong with that?"
You know how Lynchburg was founded?
I don't care how it was founded.
Do you?
No. I was about to go into a Mac Lynch
No.
story, the guy that founded
No,
Lynchburg,
no, no.
but I
My
decided
buddy
not
grew
to.
up 2 miles from there, and
Look, 8 minutes. Here we
He
go. 7
exists.
minutes now.
Recently, our senior high pastor resigned to pursue a new ministry in the area. He and I have been working together as a team. We both
you know,
worked as
quit your
direct
ministry
reports.
and change the name of that church, school,
Town.
City.
town, township.
We have just officially
Wait, I-
lost control of this podcast.
Praisel, thank you for the
We
tech
both
news.
worked as direct reports to the senior pastor. Now the church is moving to hire a senior high pastor who will oversee the entire ministry. I will report to him as opposed to being part of the senior staff of the church. This will be much different as I've been on part of the staff since coming on board 2.5 years ago. What model do you like best and why? One point person for the entire ministry versus each youth pastor part of the staff. My role, it will stay the same, ministering to junior high students, leaders, and families. Please let me know what you think about this. Also, his little PS, he wonders about Doug Elliott's resume. Doug Elliott's great. Hire him. All right, but let's.
Doug Elliott is great.
Doug Elliott is great.
Doug
Anybody
Elliott's
needs a
great.
good youth pastor.
I feel like I should say Doug Elliott is great.
Well, you don't
Just so we all-
Don't say it unless you believe
Oh,
it.
I believe it. I just wouldn't normally. Just peer pressure.
Here's the deal on this one. I wonder. My first thought, Brian, is there something in your leadership that you want to get after with the senior pastor and say, is this an opportunity to demote me? That's what I would want to do. I'd want to know that all of a sudden you're bringing somebody in to now be my direct report. Are you maybe the pastor
Not his direct report.
wants less direct reports, and so this is one of the ways to
Right.
do it. And it's nothing against Brian, but I would want to know: is there something in my leadership that doesn't sit at this table?
That I couldn't be that person.
Yeah, or not even that person. I'm not saying that the new senior high guy needs to now report to me if I'm Brian.
Right.
But what's the change? Is there something about me that has moved this change?
Well, and what's happening in our church? Is our church growing? Is our staff growing? Is there a reason to restructure a little bit? You know, I mean, because, yeah, like you said, direct reports. I mean, if they're restructuring number-wise, it might be that we need to streamline some of those communication, you know.
Yeah. Like, personally, I hate direct reports. I would do everything I can to not have any. Wait, that's what I have. That's too insider.
If we could have got you to say that 11 years ago,
In the start of his twilight years.
in the golden age of the Twilight time.
So, if I'm Brian, I'm going. I would hold the mirror up and go, is there something?
Yeah, where am I a
in the-
moron?
In the 2.5 years,
Is there a
is
possibility?
there something that I did that I'm not now deserving to sit at this table? I think that's a realistic question.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, we're always saying let's get after truth. If
Well, at least I'm saying that.
if pastor wants to be honest
Yeah.
with you, you'll learn something about yourself and your leadership. So, which do I like better? You know, personally, I like everybody taking the lead of their own. If you can be cohesive, and it doesn't feel like the junior high is a different animal than the high school, you can be cohesive and work together. if I'm the high school guy, I don't want to oversee the junior high. If I'm the junior high guy, I don't want to oversee the high school.
Yeah, but there is a question of managing and accountability, and there's communication stuff, but there's also vision and accountability is a huge thing, I think. And so, yeah, your style is they don't have to, but you don't want any direct reports, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just people are wired differently. As far as what Jana brings up, if they're bringing on more people and they need to restructure to be more effective, yeah. There is really no right answer to this question. I know a church that the high school guy reports to the junior high person.
Yeah.
And actually the junior high person is a woman. So a male high school pastor reports to the junior high woman. I think it's great. And she's qualified.
But I would say it's uncommon. This is probably typical where
it is
junior
uncommon.
Junior high.
It's very
youth
uncommon.
worker is, reports to the senior high who is part of the leadership team.
Yeah.
So I don't see this as uncommon either.
Well, and that might just be what their church is used to as well.
Right.
So now that they have a senior high person in place, they're just following the model that they know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe the junior high guy is a screwball and he needs some accountability. And you can
he
take
needs
that
to seek
personality
He
if that's
needs to
true.
seek that out.
Take that personal if it's true.
All right, let's do
Just
this.
kidding. I don't even know you, seriously. Just joking.
Take that personal if it's true. That's a good line, though.
Josh, it's how I live my life.
I know, I like it.
All right,
You should be offended right now if that's true.
Clint Fleetwood, we're going to get to your question next week.
Oh,
and
we're not
Eric
going to.
West.
At chance.
Eric West, here's just one. We'll leave it to think about.
Oh.
How about this?
We're
we
ending
don't
on a thinker.
We don't answer.
You know,
we're just going to think about it. He says,
It's kind of a point to ponder.
I recently heard this statement: a youth pastor is not called to a church. We are called to a senior pastor.
Oh, no.
Think about it.
I'm done thinking.
I am done too. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, you thought I was dumb.
Called to a senior pastor.
Well, I was called to you.
I'm called to a church body. I'm not a senior pastor. I'm
But
called
don't you think there's kind of an old... Well, we're thinking about it, I won't say
to. You mean we're talking about it?
A buddy of mine,
Yeah, we
a
are
buddy of
talking about
ours, said, I think he had some interesting thoughts about how I feel like, he said, I feel like in Christianese we put so much emphasis on calling rather than being faithful, or that we all have one calling to serve. And, anyhow, he just had some interesting thoughts where he thought we emphasized
it would be an
too
interesting
much.
discussion. I think it's you don't feel called to a church if you can't support a senior pastor.
Very true.
Or you don't want to pursue that call if you're going to go, man, we're just going to
Yeah.
butt heads. And I can see both sides of this, but
Yeah, I think
where-
you're
where
called
it
to different
struck
things.
me,
Because
I-
let's use the word led.
well, led to be a shepherd of a body.
But
And
there
I
was
have
a
to serve that.
there was a day and age where if the senior pastor resigned, that the youth pastor would also resign.
It's still that day and age.
Like
in
people
some
in
denominations,
groups.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
leave
A
out of
youth-
respect
a
for the
pastor.
oncoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could feel that statement out of that type of a.
Culturally.
Yeah.
You know what?
But I would disagree.
Faithful.
All right. Speaking of
faithful.
faithful, Josh, movie report. What'd you see last night?
Saw Transformers last night.
And it came out last night?
No, it comes out next week.
You are a dirty, dirty man.
Push the button. Push the button.
Yeah,
Went and saw
I
Transformers
thought
last
we
night.
had a deal.
He
At
took
the
Taffy.
Arclight.
Yeah, you weren't even on the list.
Taffy should go.
Okay.
Taffy should go.
Why should
it was a
Taffy
tough
go?
call.
Why should
He is a
Taffy go? He
lifelong
worships the
Transformers.
Transformers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It
When
was
we record
unbelievable.
direct to hard drive, we're not going to have a time constraint. I just
Ooh,
want
No,
you to
we
know.
over an hour.
will. We will
No,
have
we
a time
will
we
not.
can't do
Bottom
it right
line
now.
is, I
Why,
missed the
just
comedy
cut the
show,
podcast in half.
which was a
we don't.
bummer.
Then we don't need to do it every week.
Ooh, but I missed the comedy show. That would have been fun. But
Was Transformers, amazing? Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want.
I won't say a word
Don't
except-
say anything.
Oh, okay. It was great.
That one,
You're not supposed to say
That
that.
one Transformer.
You know, everything was great today, right? Everything
That
was great.
one what?
That one Transformer
Read my
dies
blog.
in the.
Wrote a review at 1 a.m. last night. It was great.
Wow. Is that right after you sent me the stuff? Or
Yeah,
before?
about the same time.
Oh,
It was great.
I
All right.
want to see that movie with Taffy so bad.
This is a big week. Transformers next week. The iPhone comes out today.
Today,
Oh, my
right?
brother-in-law got me one.
An iPhone?
Just kidding.
Wait, should we tell everybody why you
Falwell.
need a new phone, though?
Yeah, I don't care. I went swimming with my phone
And how many times have you done that?
once.
Well, swimming, but how many?
Yeah.
I have not ruined my cell phones.
A lot of phones.
Matt, you ruin
Oh,
everything. A
the show's gonna
and
end
B.
It's a big propaganda lie.
What's B? Because I love that when there's no B.
Yeah, you do that quite often.
I love that. A, and then...
He
we get a
ruins
new thing?
everything. And cell phones. This is about his 8th
This
cell
is a lot
phone
of
in
phones. If
2
I ever want to
years.
upgrade, I'm just going to go swimming with Matt.
Yeah, but that's due to technology, not
Wow.
All right,
Alright.
say goodbye, quick.
Hey, podcast at simplyyouthministry.com. Send in questions and how long you think the show should
to
be.
just enough youth
5
ministry
minutes.
so you don't feel guilty for listening.
Bye.